Hello and welcome to another episode of the MiamiHal Real Estate Show. It is Thursday at 2 o'clock.
We've made it.
Hav, you made it.
I've made it.
I think I've made it.
We've made it.
And we're thrilled to be here. I've taken a week off and it feels a little bit new and fresh here. Hav never takes any time off. He works for you all the time.
We are always working.
Hav, we've got a full show today, don't
we? Do. We're going to wing this, and I think we're going to be okay. So I think we should be fine.
And we're going back to kind of our roots. I will remind everybody you've got social media boxes in front of you. Please ask questions, type it right in. And as we get to that portion of the show, we'll look up at the questions that's been received and we'll get onto it right away.
I'll put my glasses on so I can see them.
And we usually start the show with, what did you learn this week in real estate? And there's always something fun from you.
There's always. So what I learned is that realtors actually don't change. And especially so real quick, I'm going to grab so that we can actually have this verbatim glasses, because I'm 60 and I can't see a damn thing. So this is a true little going back and forth. Have a property down on Ocean Drive. Okay. So, and obviously, you know that we work out of Coconut Grove.
It's posh. Right?
Yeah, it's poshy.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is we get a listing, for a call and say, hi, we want to show your property. We get the call on Sunday. Okay. We're going to do it on Monday. Perfect. Everything is fine. It's at 5 o'clock. Now, if you're from Miami or know anything about Miami, traveling anywhere at 5 o'clock is
it's
brutal.
A bear. Yeah.
So we get the whole thing set up. So this is a true, and I save the text just for this. So this is what we deal with, guys. So when they tell us that our job is like super, super easy, here we go. All right. So I get a text. Hi. And this is me sending a text to confirm the appointment, and it says, hi, we still on for 5 p.m. at the Royal Atlantic. And I send this at 4:06.
Okay.
Remember, I'm leaving Coconut Grove.
Because it's going to take you
It's gonna
that
take me
amount
a
of time
while
to get down there. Yep.
I get this response. Yes, my husband/business partner is with our client. Okay, cool. And I get that at 4:11.
Okay. So reasonably
No,
quick response.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm on my way. I'm right.
And you're
I'm
like,
rolling.
hey, you know what? I'm going somewhere and they're going to be there.
At 5:07, after clearing out the apartment and making sure that everybody's good. At 5:07. Remember, the appointment's at 5 o'clock.
Okay, so we're after the appointment time.
They're
not there.
I send a note. Can you check on ETA, estimated time of arrival, for those of us who don't know that? He has not returned my text on where to meet. At 5:21, I get, my apologies. The client doesn't want to see anything else. Now, this is what I had sent the hubby, business partner.
So we're going back in time, if I remember.
4:25.
All right. So this is now, they've canceled.
Many minutes. There's many minutes. There's plenty of time.
35 minutes left.
I am on my way from Coconut Grove to South Beach. Hi, this is Javier on way to Royal Atlantic. Where would you like to meet? No reply.
That's it. But that was a nice
hubby business partner. No reply.
Yeah.
At 4:50, by the way, I'm in the unit whenever you're ready. Apparently he's never ready, because I get a 5:21 text saying person doesn't want to see it anymore. So for those of you that think that our gig is, how shall we say, not frustrating. And I was with my wife, and my wife wanted to just go off on these people. I said, guys, we don't do that. What we do is we make it immortal and we put you on a podcast. So that's what they've done.
Memorialized that into
I've
a
memorialized
podcast.
These two
Is
individuals.
Your blood still boiling?
No, my blood's not boiling because now I've gotten it off my chest, but they are on my, that list.
So you are not unique or alone.
No.
Yeah.
No, we get this all.
I could go through wonderful text messages that I received a day or two ago. Same type of thing.
Right.
You set up an appointment. And by the way, for those of you that don't realize, we have a system.
Yeah.
The system is called showing assist.
Yeah, it's
right?
real easy.
Or actually showing time, and then the feature is showing assist. Yeah. And it is electronic. So when an agent wants to see a property that you have listed, they go and select the time and day, they hit a button, and the system alerts everybody. Okay. And that can be through text, email, phone call, or all three, or a subset.
Yeah.
It is very clear that somebody wants to see a place. And when you do that as an agent, you are then saying, hey, I want to reserve some of somebody else's time. Most of the time, people I don't know. So there should be a respect of that time, right?
Not here.
Oh, right. Okay. And so what we end up having is not only do we have the communication logged, but if an appointment is accepted, it goes automatically into everybody's calendars. So it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
So my short example, because you're going to ask me what happened and what did I learn, right?
Yes.
What did I learn? I learned that system is ignored by anybody that uses it, or almost anybody that uses it.
I agree.
And it's really sad.
Yeah.
So those of you that are not in the real estate world aren't
Right.
agents. And you don't have to have pity on us. You
No,
just have to
no pity.
understand
Yeah.
that, if somebody interrupted you at your job and said, I want, a half an hour of your time, you'd be pretty upset if they didn't utilize that time when they asked for it. So,
or 2 hours.
Well, that's
in this
true.
case,
Well, in
because you
this
have
case,
travel
you got
time.
the travel time. Yes.
So you've got travel time. So
There's
it's
no
2 hours of my life that I'm never going to get back. And just because it's not courteous, and it's that simple. And again, we go through this all the time, but this one, I found that since I had it on a text message, I thought, you know what, I can read this verbatim.
Yeah.
And it's fun. But I got another text message. Want to hear one? This is great.
Okay.
It's a referral.
All right, good.
This is really, really good. This is really, really good. So I got this today.
I saw the excitement in your eyes, so we're gonna
This
look at this
is
referral
classic.
text.
No, this is classic. And actually, I'm going to call this, but this is great because I get this text.
By the way, this is really
You got to love this.
psychology
Okay. And it says,
lesson.
right, it is. It says, Javier, my name is blah, blah, blah. And I heard you are a fabulous broker. We might be interested in looking for a place in Miami. Would you be interested in helping us? And again, we get a lot of these texts from advertisers and stuff like that, right?
And the keyword so far that I've heard,
Right.
which already has piqued my interest and concern, is that would you help us?
Right.
The word is us.
Right.
Okay,
Us,
let's see how this goes.
but they've given me a name. Usually we don't get a
Right.
name.
Yeah.
Usually it's just some blank thing.
Right.
And I said, I don't know how fabulous I am, but I would be happy to assist. And this is when it
It's a
gets
nice referral.
really, really good. Okay. A little bit more conversations. The reply from the referral is, I met a guy in Coral Gables. He wrote your name on a beverage napkin. I need to find it, and then I can tell you. I took a photo, but it was over a year ago. He was really nice and said you were really good. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's great. I mean, that's
like
the story of
some
my life.
details. That's some good detail.
No, but that's
like,
the story of my life. I met a guy in a bar, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is good. And then they send a picture. And the best part is I actually know the person. It is a true picture. It is a true napkin. And the person that referred me had mentioned it to me about a year and a half ago. I said, hey,
this
listen.
is real so far. I was not
No, it's
expecting
real.
that. Okay.
It's perfectly real.
Right, so you have a real referral.
Well, real referral. But I just found it was interesting that you never know where you're going to get your business from.
Yeah.
And that's something we talk about all the time, is that you never know who you're going to meet, where it's going to go. And not everything is immediate satisfaction. And I think a lot of realtors and a lot of young realtors don't really get that.
Realize that. Yeah.
But I thought that was a great.
I'll tell you a story,
like
and
the
I'm
whole
going to
bar
take
stuff.
out a lot of the side effects, even though they're interesting. It's just too lengthy of a story. But I helped a family purchase a house 8 years ago. And even before we had identified the house, they knew where they wanted their kids to go to school. And we were going to find something in Palmetto Bay.
Right.
So Coral Reef Elementary is the school they wanted to go
school.
to. And so they were so worried about the enrollment because they were just up to the last couple of days of enrollment. Actually, I think they had passed enrollment. And so I said, listen, I do a number of videos. I know the principals at the school.
Right.
So let me walk you into the school and let's meet the principal.
Ooh, a little inside.
Which we did.
I like that.
I don't think I did
nice
anything.
Job.
Yeah. But what I did is I showed concern
Yeah.
and I showed empathy and did something extra. And so ultimately I was able to help them get, enrollment in the school. And for the 6 months after they bought a place, I bump into them from time to time. Oh, thank you so much. It's really important to us. And you did a great job. And that was that, right? Yeah. Well, 8 years go by. You don't talk to them every day. In fact, there were probably several years, especially during COVID, I didn't speak to them at all.
Right.
Got a call about a month ago. Guess what they wanted?
We're ready to move on.
We're ready to move on. We're not calling anybody else. We don't care what your strategy is, but you're our guy.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, I appreciate that. I love the fact that I've earned your trust in business. What was it that, and they reminded me that what I had done was help them get their kids in school. Yeah. So,
it's that trust value. It's that little extra step that we take, and that, good agents, not even good agents. Let's not even talk about agents, just real people, because let's take away the agency aspect of it, our job. Let's look at us as individuals, and we're here to help. we're going through a tenant situation where we've been working with this tenant saying, you need to do this. If not, you're, in violation of the lease.
Yeah.
And we're trying to be helpful, and not only as realtors, but I think as individuals, and our business is to serve.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that.
And the vast majority of agents do that. And what I think we're all hoping for, and I'm not blaming anybody here, is the respect. Hey, we see that you're trying to do something for us, and here's the respect that you earned already. Yeah. And sometimes it works out, sometimes
it does, sometimes it doesn't. But when it doesn't, we're going to make sure that we put it on a podcast.
Yeah. I'm going to do one very brief thing because it's boiling in me as a very positive thing. And then we're going to get on to our main topic because I see the pieces.
There they are. I'm sliding over there, man. Okay. I'm telling you.
All right. So I took a trip. That's why I was not here last week doing my show.
I heard.
I was out of the country. I went to go look at gorillas in Uganda.
Cool.
And that's like, I never even
thought
I'd
way out there.
Yeah, that's way out there.
Yeah.
What I discovered, besides seeing gorillas and all kinds of animals that I expected to see, I saw a country and its people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing when you travel, especially something as different as what you see here, what it invokes in the way of thought process. And Uganda is a country filled with people that are very, very poor.
Mm-hmm.
Yet these people are very, very happy. And they're also very, very respectful of each other.
Right. Yeah.
It's interesting because when I peeled all the layers back, and this is what I wrote to people that follow me on Facebook on my personal page, not on the business page, is that if you step way, way back, what life is about is eating and procreating.
Yeah.
What else is there? And so when you go to a country like Uganda,
can I have a drink?
You can have drinks. I think that's part of the eating.
Okay. Oh, is that all right?
That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
Both for the animals, you watch them eat, you watch them procreate. I didn't watch anybody procreate.
Yeah, I don't.
But it's happening.
Yeah, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to go there. You took this conversation this route. We talk about Zillow, but
the core of what life is about.
Yeah, human beings.
And people are nice there,
yeah.
And people are happy there. And I'm taking a little bit of a pause because we're here to help people find a place to live, which is probably the next thing down, which is, besides eating, you got to have a place that's safe to live.
Gotta have
that's
roof
what
over
we
your
do.
head. Yeah.
And I love the fact that I have an opportunity to do that for families. But it's really about the happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping people will reflect just a little bit during or after the show about what makes them happy. Because I think that people in the United States have too many distractions, and most of it has to do with our affluence. Whether we're considered poor here or not, we are far better off than people in Uganda.
Yeah.
And yet, most of us are unhappy.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to live my life through a different set of lenses.
I think it's important to always take a step back, especially in our busy lives and the way that we operate. And again, I went back to the comment. We are here to serve a purpose. I mean, we're here to serve our clients, our customers, our friends, our relatives for their number one purchase, which is, a reality of a home or a rental, which it's your one of the number one priorities. And I think it's very, very important for the audience to know that we actually take this very, very serious. Good agents do.
Yeah.
We know we're going to get paid, guys. We're going to get paid one way or another. It doesn't really matter. But our point is that extra step by going to school. I have another text that I could read if you want. No, it's but getting somebody getting the same thing, somebody in a school, and at the same time that she was doing all this, she had a baby. And I'm thinking to myself, man, can she multitask? I mean, this is like a lot of hard work that she's going through. But I think it's important for us as agents and as just individuals to be able to, coexist and work with other people. That's why that disrespect of 2 hours of my time becomes very, very frustrating when you're trying to do your best, when you're trying to get out there. Mm-hmm. So that's our whole little, bitch fest that
we are halfway through our show.
Are we?
Which means it's time to transition to our main topic.
What's our main topic?
Well, it's over there. Why don't you slide over like you promised?
All right. I'm out.
All right. This is actually a fun thing. that we all look forward to every year.
So, so it's that time of year, boys and girls. For those of you who live here in Miami-Dade County, you will soon be getting, if you haven't gotten them already, camera. Yoo-hoo.
Wide shot.
There we go.
Wide
okay,
shot.
These are called your trim sheets.
There you go.
And they are your Miami-Dade trim sheets, and this is where your taxes are going to go. And we've talked about this. We've been talking about taxes. We've been talking about the fact that if you're homesteaded, if you're not homesteaded, how it affects. So these are mine. So I got them today. I got them this morning. They're still missing a couple more. We walked into the office over here and community newspapers.
Miami community
right,
newspapers.
And he had a stack about this. Yeah, he had a stack. It would weigh about 20 pounds.
You know these Miller brothers. They're loaded.
I'm telling you, they're rolling. Yeah, but this is like the worst news that they can get when they get this. But the 2 points is from an investment property of how it's taxed, and also from your home.
Good point.
So I think it's important to know that if you are in a homesteaded property, you're going to see two levels. You're going to see a market value. And that market value can go up any number. It can go up, let's say
you mean from year to year.
From year to year. So let's say your property is valued at $500,000. It can go up to $800,000. That's a $300,000 increase. Which is great. That's your market. So that's where you're feeling, But you're taxed on assess. And if you're not with homestead exemption, you will see that your assessed value will kick up. It can kick up as much as 10%. And remember that inflation went up to about 7% this year. That's where this is all taxes. But like in my assessed value on the property only went up $14,000, and it only went up 2.9% because we're homesteaded. And that's where your taxes are. That's how you're based.
So that's good for anybody that it's their primary home.
Your primary residence.
And you can only, as a person and a family, you can only have one primary residence, which means you have to live there 6 months and 1 day.
Right. So it's critical that you do have your homestead exemption, because this is a classic example of what happens. We've had a super hot market. Yeah. And it's gone up and it's gone up in value. So if you weren't in a protected mode with your homestead, you would be like toast, or not toast, but you would be paying a lot more.
Yeah.
The interesting part is for the last couple of years, the actual tax increase has been less, has been like 1.4 because inflation was down. So you maybe said, I don't need to be homesteaded because, I'm paying less. Well, now's the thing. So be on the lookout for these little guys. They're coming at you. The investment properties will get taxed. They can get taxed as high as 10%. Even though I'm not.
So just as a reminder, 3% cap for somebody that's a homestead primary property,
or the cost of living increase. In this case, since it went up 7, you only have 3. If it would have gone only 1, it would have been 1. Right, exactly. But if you're not homesteaded and it's an investment property, you're going to get juiced for up to 10%.
Up to 10%, and that can really hurt.
Be on the lookout for them.
Yeah,
they're on your way. So that's one of the conversations. Taxes.
Real
estate taxes.
Yeah. We don't. And by the way, those of you that make a purchase and sell, there's all kinds of rules. Get in touch with either one of us and we'll explain, hey, you've got a certain amount of time once you sell to buy something else. There's, $500,000 worth of profit that you can take if it's your primary home and not be taxed on it. There's a number of things that you can do. If you're an investor, there's 1031 exchange. There's a number of ways to either eliminate tax or to defer it.
Right.
So we're knowledgeable to a degree. Ultimately, if you want true tax advice, you're going to go to your accountant, consultant, or your accountant. But there's a lot of things we can discuss and be helpful with.
Yeah, we also talked about another thing about how real estate has moved, and we talked about that real estate's kind of slowing down. But at the same time, that tax sheet and something you just mentioned about the profit of $500,000 being tax-free if you're married and $250,000 if it's individual. That's really what started to drive our market in residential real estate.
Agreed.
It started in 1999 with a tax proposal. And now we've had a lot of clients that have done 2 to 5 years, not in jail, 2 to 5 years. Let me be clear. So, you hold the property for 2 years out of 5 years, and you can actually take your profit, sell it. And if you think about it, we're in our, I think, 11th cycle that somebody can go from 1999 to 2022.
Makes sense.
So we have all of these individuals, and I know people that have made millions of dollars just basically buying and trading. And we made the comment in another podcast that law changed residential real estate into a short-term investment. When before we've always talked about, hey, this is your long-term investment. This is your home. It's going to be 30 years or 15 years or 20 years or, and now it's not. Now it has become a short-term vehicle for individuals. And a lot of people have made a lot of money, putting even a tougher crunch on our market. So another little tidbit of what government can do that can affect some of the basic real estate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing the trim notices in.
There you go. I got it. Listen, I got them today. And I'm thinking, oh man,
this is good
right. It's not even September, dude. It's like August.
And those of you that have purchased coming in from outside the state, please make sure that you get homesteaded, because you're going to be saving over the course of the years that you own that home and any future home in Florida some significant money. And if it's low on your list, make it number one.
Yeah, make it number one. And it's also, look at your trim sheets, because it gives you the breakdown by where your tax money is going. So in Miami-Dade County, my wife looked at something and says, we give that amount of money to Miami-Dade County. No, and the public libraries.
Public libraries too.
Yeah. So you've got all these expenses, and you start to realize, and not that, it's not it's a good thing to give to a public library, but a lot of folks don't understand where their money is going in taxes. And I think it's critical. And this trim sheet will break it right down for you. Tells you where it's going to go. And at least where the government is spending your coin.
Yeah. So the next topic.
Yes.
The market is changing.
It has changed.
Not always, but in the last couple of years, there's always been some sea change, not little changes, but big changes.
Yep.
What's your feeling about how the market has changed over, let's say, the last month?
You know what? I did this for someone today, and I'm a kind of visual dude. So what I had is we were making red beans, Cuban red beans. So we had like chicken broth and beans and peppers and potatoes and all of this stuff. And what I told the individual was, let's say this is your house. So this is the house you're going to buy. Before, we had a lot of potatoes and a lot of beans and a lot of green peppers that were looking at that property.
I'm waiting to see how you bring this together.
All right. So now we don't have that many potatoes or beans or potatoes, or not potatoes, green peppers looking at that property. Okay. Now we only have one green pepper looking at that property.
Oh, okay.
So what's happened in our eyes and what we've sensed is that the competition for the purchasing of a property isn't there. So now if that potato and that green pepper that looked at your house doesn't buy it, then you're going to have to wait for an apple to come from somewhere to be able to buy the property.
I'm still trying to figure out how we got to food items
on
who the customers are to purchase a home.
I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm hungry.
Well, that makes sense.
So yeah, so the whole thing is, if the initial people that see your home don't purchase it, then you're going to be on the market, and
the lines for open houses are gone.
Yeah, that's done.
And so, and the last month, what's the volume of potential buyers that you've seen? Is it basically flat?
Yeah, it was flat. We're starting to see people come into the market now, which is we expected that, coming into our September, October season. But it was really interesting that, and again, it's the summer. It's hot as hell out there.
It was.
You know that. It's brutal. It hasn't rained here. It hasn't rained. Even the mosquitoes are starving.
By the way, Uganda, basically on the equator.
Yep.
Much cooler than here in Miami during the summer.
Well, you can tell them there's no mosquitoes. That's when you know it hasn't rained. There's no mosquitoes.
That's true.
Mosquitoes are like, help me. And we're like, okay. So I think the market has just that competitive out there. And then again, we tell our sellers, you got to price now accordingly. You got a price that you can't really reach. We have a couple of sellers that are looking at numbers, and it's like, guys, you're not going to get that number. It's just not going to happen. So I think that's what's really, we saw it coming. It's become a reality. Again, we can predict. You have listings, you have buyers.
Yes.
I have listings, I have buyers. We can predict the market simply by knowing what we are going to get, how our market is going to move. So I know that we are going to have a good tail end of the year. But again, if the potato and the pepper do not make an offer on your property on the first day, you're going to be waiting some days for that apple to come in and buy it.
And the beans are nowhere.
The beans have left. The beans have left. The beans are just they can't even compete because the interest rates have put them out of the pocket.
It's about the strangest angle on
real
estate I've heard in the last all of our shows.
There you go.
So you're saying that we're going to have a good rest of the year.
Yeah.
If we are not in COVID times, there is a very predictable cycle
Mhm.
in volumes of people that are looking to buy.
Yep.
And we have a big, rush to buy when school is out.
Mhm.
And we have basically far fewer
Mhm.
buyers during the holidays.
Right.
So Thanksgiving, I always say Thanksgiving to
Yeah,
New
that's
Year's,
right. Yeah.
or maybe a week
Right.
before
Right.
Thanksgiving
Right.
through New Year's,
Right.
it's quieter. Is that going to happen this year?
I think a lot of people that were on the sidelines during the summer months are out there. So they're looking, they still want to buy. They're still going to buy a property. They still need to move. They still need to do. So we've had a lot of clients that have actually gone into a pause simply because there hasn't been enough inventory out there, or they've seen the inventory and it's either priced a little, above the number.
Mhm.
But I think, I've had people go back to being with their parents, just waiting,
Yeah,
just waiting for,
I've seen that.
yeah, and just
Yeah.
waiting on not the market to change, but just the market to even out, and they need to pause. And I think we as realtors have to be able to tell them, okay, it's cool to pause, and I think it's a good idea to pause. And then now the market, I think, is going to be, I just sense it. I just sense that we're going to have a good end of the year. You mentioned after Thanksgiving, we usually slow down. You'll have closings right before, Christmas.
Right.
People want to move in.
And that
But
is-
again, I believe that if the sellers get their stuff together and they get the properties out there at the right number, you still have a very, very solid market.
Speaking of that, you have inventory you want to talk about that you're looking for a buyer for?
We're still looking Palmetto Bay, Miami Springs, and Silver Bluff.
Got it.
Those are the areas that I love Coconut Grove. I live in Coconut Grove, but the numbers there just don't make sense on a lot of the properties.
Got it.
So that's my little.
You're going to
spiel.
ask me my inventory, right?
What's your
Oh,
inventory?
thank you. I'm glad you asked, Cobb.
Well, hell, you got to prompt me in these things. I'm old. We go off track.
So inventory, I've got two wonderful properties
Mm-hmm.
in the Oak Lake section of the Hammocks.
Okay.
They're a block away from each other. They're very different properties. One's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, has a pool, but has been updated recently and is empty right now.
Right.
The other one is down the block. It's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, lived in, and it's a little choppy, but it has so many possibilities. And both of these are a block or even steps away from the wonderful lake system that's out at the Hammocks, where you can go on a 7.2 mile nature walk every
cool.
day. And that lake, I have to tell you, I don't know if you're familiar, it is so calming to be out there.
Right.
And the Hammocks community takes care of it. They've got pavilions that you can sit and have a meal at. They've got volleyball courts. They have a couple of areas that are actually sand and kind of gives you a little beachy area.
Yeah.
It's wonderful out there. So I've got those two properties. I have one in South Miami, which is really interesting, and it ultimately belongs in the hands of somebody that's going to invest and change it.
Right.
But it's a 1950s house, about 1,800 square feet. It was updated 8 years ago. New roof, metal.
Right.
PVC piping, electric, everything's in good shape. The layout is a little bit interesting because it's 4 bedrooms, but one of the bedrooms is only accessible through the master bedroom. I should say primary bedroom.
Primary. We
and
can't
it also
say master
has,
anymore.
well, we can,
Yeah,
but
we
it's
can, but-
inappropriate, right?
Exactly.
So I'm sorry for the faux pas. And it also is accessible from outside.
Right.
So it could be an in-law quarters, has its own full
Or an
bath there.
illegal Airbnb.
Don't say that. They would
Oops.
never do that. Nobody would ever do that. But anyway,
It's
that
not done here in
property is
Miami.
priced at $1.5 million. And the reality is because of how it's placed on its almost double-sized lot,
Nice.
there's a lot of room for expansion. It's adjacent to multifamily lots.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of possibilities there, but it's probably going to go into the hands of somebody that's going to invest and change
Yeah,
what it is now.
Adopt it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's what's going on. Did
Not
we
much.
get questions, Andre?
We don't have any. We
it
don't
was
have any
my
questions.
fault for not looking over.
No, we didn't get any questions today.
We did.
Oh my God!
Look, George Gonzalez. By the way, I found out who he is. Wonderful person.
Great.
And he says, can you guys elaborate on the future properties that will be foreclosed and sold by bank?
I don't
We've
think
got-
there's any.
Go.
I
This
really
is
don't
you.
think there's any of that. I don't think we're going to see any foreclosures just simply because of the values and the increases. I haven't seen a short sale in forever, and I don't see any foreclosures anytime soon.
I slightly differ. I don't think we're going to have them right now, but
Mhm.
I think 6 months from now, we're going to start to see people that really just can't keep up with their mortgage payments. They will not be upside down. So short sales and all that stuff don't exist, But I do think that banks are going to tighten up and say, hey, you got to pay. Either pay or go.
You're going to go, but you're not going to foreclose.
Okay.
You won't need to foreclose.
I see your point there. We have actually run out of time.
Oh my
that
God.
was a fast half an hour.
That was a fast, quick half hour.
We appreciate you coming to join us every Thursday at 2:00. I do have to tell you that next week, finally, we're going to have the mayor of Palmetto Bay here. Karen and I have missed each other, and that will be no more because next week she will be sitting in that chair.
In this chair.
Yeah. And we'll talk about a lot of good things.
Perfect.
Until then, have a great week in real estate.
Be well, guys. Take it easy.
Thank you,
All
Howard.
right, you got it.